First at 4, it's what many of you are talking about this hour, the House Speaker vote. Thank you for joining us for this busy afternoon. I'm Simone D'Alba.
And I'm Adam Longo. Simone, good afternoon. Listen, coming into this vote for Speaker today, Jim Jordan could only afford to lose 4 members of his caucus, 4 Republican votes. He ended up losing 20 in this vote that wrapped up, and the House went into recess about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Now, what's interesting in moving forward is that his spokesperson, Jim Jordan's spokesperson, has been telling reporters to expect another round of voting tonight. But some folks that we have talked to out here outside of the east steps of the Capitol and other Republicans appearing on television say that it is possible that Jim Jordan could lose votes going into another round of voting. Let me take you up to the minute, though, and tell you what's happening literally right now. Just moments ago, I was outside of the Majority Whip's office, Tom Emmer. That is where Jim Jordan is right now. They are trying to cobble together additional support to see if they can add to their numbers in moving forward with another round of voting tonight. And even though that spokesperson is telling reporters to expect another round of voting for Speaker tonight, you can expect something. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. They're going to certainly want more votes moving forward. They're not going to want to pull votes away. Now let's take a look at the vote totals from this first vote that happened just at 12:45 today. So Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic candidate for Speaker, got 212 votes. Jim Jordan getting 200 votes, and other candidates getting 20 votes. That would include Representative McCarthy and Representative Scalise. 217 votes is what Jim Jordan needed out of his Republican caucus to be able to push this vote forward for him to be able to become Speaker. Now, let's take you inside there, because it was interesting to watch. I was in the House chamber watching all of this. There were moments where the former Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, was huddling with Jim Jordan. At one point, Steve Scalise, who was the former designee from the Republican conference, he got a standing ovation after he put his vote forward for Jim Jordan. Now, local Congressman Jerry Connolly voted like this. He literally said, "No to insurrectionists. I vote for Hakeem Jeffries." Now listen, Jim Jordan, a close ally with Donald Trump, a founding member of the Freedom Caucus, certainly voted to overturn the 2020 election. Now, about 2 hours ago, when the House adjourned, I was meeting with some of our local lawmakers out here on the east steps of the Capitol. So first I was able to talk with, and who you're going to hear from here, House Freedom Caucus member Andy Harris, who represents the Eastern Shore of Maryland in District 1. And then we also spoke to the former Majority Leader, Steny Hoyer, Democrat in Prince George's County. Let's listen to the two of them, and we'll discuss on the backside. Just wondering if you think that Jim Jordan will be able to get the 16 votes he needs to be able to push us over the top today.
I don't know whether today. I mean, I'm not sure what the rush is. We have time. It took a few days with Speaker McCarthy back in January, and, they started out in about the same position. Speaker McCarthy became Speaker McCarthy. I think Mr. Jordan will become Speaker Jordan.
You think a lot of the members who didn't vote for Jim Jordan will need a lot of convincing? What do you think it will take?
Well, I don't know, but again, I think that a lot of people want this to come to a conclusion. I think Jim Jordan has shown that he has broad support over the entire range of the conference, and I think eventually he will become the Speaker.
Knowing what you know and who you know, do you think that Jim Jordan can pick up another 16 votes, or do you think we're going to be in another stalemate?
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if he keeps all the votes he has.
Do you think you'll be back again later today for another vote?
No, I doubt it.
You doubt it?
Today, I'd be surprised.
Be surprised.
But maybe that'll happen, but I'd be surprised.
Of course, Steny Hoyer, in his time as Majority Leader, a very effective parliamentarian of the House floor. So I would put a lot of stock in what you are hearing from him there. So again, Simone, as we bring it back into you, Jim Jordan would need 217 of his fellow Republicans to give him the nod to move forward. So far, he only has 200. Expect maybe another vote tonight. We're going to be planted right here if that comes to fruition.
Well, of course, Adam, what comes to mind is how could we forget McCarthy, right? Going 15 rounds of votes to get the job. And so I'm curious here, is there any indication that there's someone else who could be in line for the nomination? Or is Jim Jordan just going to continue having votes until he gets the job?
Yeah, and that's the perfect question to ask, Simone, because those are the discussions that are literally happening right now. So if not Jordan, then who? I don't think the Republican caucus is there yet. I don't think they're saying, if not Jordan, then who? Let's go forward and nominate someone else. I would think if that was to happen, we would go back and the Republican conference would meet again behind closed doors and say, okay, we've got to put another, just so to speak, another speaker candidate in the trash can. We had to do that with Steve Scalise. Will they have to move forward and do that with Jim Jordan? Time will tell. But they are working right now in Tom Emmer, the majority whip's office, Tom Emmer's office, Jim Jordan, to try to corral some more of these votes. But hearing from members that he's going to possibly lose support in a second round is not very telling moving ahead. And of those 20 votes that went against him, 6 of them went for Kevin McCarthy. The other highest amount went to Steve Scalise. So there isn't any other Republican right now being held up and pointed to as saying, well, if not Jordan, that's the person. We're not there yet. Simone?
Right. Meanwhile, we have a government shutdown on the horizon. We need to get aid to Israel, and we have a House in complete paralysis. Adam, we appreciate your reporting, and we'll be checking in with you if there's another vote. Thank you.